like to drive a car like this. So imagine you're on the Black Rock Desert. Now we'll talk about deserts later, so I'll come back to all that. But as you can see, it's not a white salt desert, it is a brown, dusty desert. So here we go. You line the car up, and you're going to drive it down a track which is just 50 feet wide. The reason for this is that the car breaks up the desert after each run, so you've got to move across to a parallel track each time you run. So you're going to run down this track which is just 50 foot wide. You get that huge jet engine started, and you can probably see the cockpit there. I was sitting just alongside the jet engine. You get the huge jet engine starting with a great big rumble as it lights up. And then you sit there at the end of the track just waiting. And the track is 13 miles long. You're waiting for the aeroplane, because the aeroplane flies up and down the track just to make sure we haven't got any stray Americans on the desert. Right. Then you get the all clear, and you hold the car on the brakes with the left foot. Okay, so all these cars are left foot brake. So you hold it with the left foot, and then with the right foot you press on the accelerator and gradually wind this huge engine up to 92% of maximum RPM. You don't go to 93, otherwise it goes with all wheels locked, and that's embarrassing. So you hold it at 92%, and you do your last minute checks. As soon as you're ready to go, you lift off your left foot off the brake, and you slam accelerate with your right foot flat to the floor in order to bring the afterburner in. That's the big flame at the back, and that brings a huge boost, and you're off. You're off with 35,000 horsepower, so something's going to happen. You're running on aluminium wheels with no tires. So the car slides around, and it's a bit like a rally car, so you've got to work really very hard indeed to keep front wheels in front of the back and keep the whole car within the track. If you leave the track, you're in terrible trouble, so you have to abort the run, so you've got to stay in the track. And between 0 and about 250 miles an hour, it's very hard work. And what you must never ever do is let up. Your foot has always got to be flat to the floor, because if you let up at all for a moment, it shows in your top speed. Okay, you then reach the threshold speed, which is 250 miles an hour, and you've got two big fins on this car, and it starts to go straight then. The aerodynamics start to work. It goes straight, and 250 to 550 miles an hour is boring, frankly. It's more of the same, only just a lot faster. Once you get to 550, it starts to get very, very interesting, because the airflow goes supersonic over parts of the car, and you can see the shock waves over the intakes and over the wheel arches. And on one day, when it was a very humid day, we got the whole car was completely surrounded by white cloud due to the pressure changes across the shock wave. The extraordinary thing from the driving point of view is it's a very relaxed experience. It's not a tough tensional thing at all. You're very relaxed. It's a nice sort of country drive, really. And the interesting thing too is that your mental processes speed right up, so everything happens in slow motion. Very, very relaxed. And you can see every single detail on the track come up and go underneath. So for instance, where the timekeepers have driven across the track, you could see their tire marks come up and go under the car. You come out of the measured mile, and on this best one of all, we came out at 650 miles an hour, which was the car's design speed, so we actually got there. Come out, and then the fun starts, because you've got to think about stopping. So basically the way we did it with thrust 2 was to come back on the throttle very gently down to 98%, cancelling the afterburner, and just cool the engine for 3 seconds. 3 seconds at this speed seems like an absolute eternity. But once you've got your 3 seconds done, you then pull your foot right back, which shuts off the fuel to the engine, and you touch the little button on the steering wheel which fires the parachute. Instantaneously, there's an enormous bang as the charge goes off at the back, and the parachute opens literally just like that. And you get 6G deceleration, which is violent. And it is an extraordinary effect. It's called the somatographic illusion. And what happens is it upsets your inner ears, and you're convinced you're driving straight down into the centre of the world, you know. And then you're down only for a few seconds, and then you're down to literally 400 miles an hour, which seems so slow you want to get out and walk. Bring it down to 200, and when the wheel brakes in, and then the next thing is that you're jagging your fire tenders alongside, and everybody's asking questions.